I do work with young people in the United Nations, and very often the young people, they're the tastiest part of the event, but they're always towards the end. Yes or no? So we're going to take our time and enjoy and savor what they have to say. And I want to thank you for staying with us, because really you have really powerful women here on this panel. I've read already what they're going to be talking about, and even, after so many years at the UN, I was inspired. I was inspired and asking myself, what am I doing? How can I get a piece of what they're talking about? So again, Gordon says, I'm Hawa Diallo. So I started doing programs with them really to help us to talk better to younger generations, but intergenerationally also, and also to listen to them.
So first of all, having grown up in Turkey, we have a lot of Middle Eastern influence still in our country. So I've firsthand seen the sentiment of, women's education not considered important or essential, which unfortunately creates a vicious cycle where it goes on for generations. And then both having worked in tech and finance and having studied engineering, I've seen that all of these fields are very clearly, for example, in Turkey, that's pharmacology. It's considered more flexible for hours. So women are guided towards those majors. Why? Does this happen? Expectations. Women are expected, I think, to...
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Zaina El Hadi, and I am currently studying for a master's at Columbia University. And there's so much that we could talk about with this topic. But there's kind of three main experiences that I have that I like to share. And the first one is about my background in education and fitness. So I have a master's in education, and I was a high school teacher for a few years, and I also worked in the fitness world. And through both of these, the intersection of these two fields, I've seen so many young girls and women struggle with the body image expectations and the beauty standards that our society forces onto them. I've spent so many lunch hours talking to teenage girls about why they need to eat lunch. Things that seem so basic to us, yet that these teenagers really struggle with. And at the same time, I'll see my friends on social media posting about making posts that are unwittingly contributing to the problem because it's so deeply ingrained. And we're constantly emphasizing, especially on social media, the stereotype that thin equals healthy, when we know for a fact that's not true. The second experience I want to talk about is kind of like Lara, my experience in a male-dominated field where I volunteered as a firefighter. And this experience really helped me to recognize the issues of harassment, assault, dismissiveness in a career that is so male-dominated. And especially in a field where you have to really trust your colleagues, and having that teamwork is really vital. The difficulty for women in the field, there's so many gender barriers, even getting in, and then once they're in the field, staying in the field, there's so many things that are there to kind of push you out, and the way that women are often treated is one of those factors. And this really helped me realize that rather than one single glass barrier that we often talk about, there's kind of a bunch of one glass ceiling, there's a lot of small glass barriers that are nonstop that we keep bumping into that make it harder and give us more reason to leave. And part of what comes into that is when we aren't given the space to make mistakes. So we're constantly having to prove that we know what we're doing and that we have a voice. And if we do make a mistake, it's often attributed to the fact that we're a woman rather than the skill is hard, and even men struggle with it. The third experience is, I want to come from the kind of multicultural perspective. So my mom is half Chinese and half American. My dad's from Egypt, but I grew up in China, I lived in India, and now I'm in New York. And I've kind of seen these same issues everywhere. They just show up in different ways. But these are global challenges that women and girls face. And we often have the idea that the West is more enlightened and that, sexism isn't really a thing in the US. And it is, otherwise we wouldn't really be here today. But a lot of the times it shows up in ways that aren't as blatantly obvious as some places. But a lot of women, including myself here in New York City, get harassed on a daily basis. And there's very often the threat of violence or actual violence that we face. We're still very deeply objectified and can very easily feel unsafe. And without the basic foundation of safety, we really can't do much and make much meaningful progress in other areas to work towards gender equality.
Let's hear it from Zaina. Now, thanks so much. I've got a mentorship question for you, but I'm gonna, just like technology, throw you off into another lane, and I know you can handle it. We're talking about mentors. I have one of my mentors here as well, Ms. Judy Kariansky, who actually is responsible with Gordon to bring us this powerful panel we have in front of us. As a matter of fact, 3 of the strong women on this panel are students of Judy's at Columbia University. So I can only imagine what the knowledge she's transferring over to them. So she has to leave because she has another commitment, and there's no way she can say something before leaving. Over to you, Judy.
Oh, thank you, Hawa. I actually have to teach class. So, and the class is about psychology and the United Nations. But Hawa, you are beautiful inside and outside, really, and everything that you are doing for children. And everybody here, as I looked around the room, really is beautiful. So I think you should give yourselves a hand for your beauty inside and out in the spirit. Since I was asked to give closing statements and have to rush class, I'd like to make some overall points. One has to do with the environment that we are in, that we started from, thanks to the Council General, thanks to Minne for arranging this, and for Niad, and all the comments that Gordon made and everybody about what is going on in the country right now. So we have been aware now of Turkey because of the horror, but there are beautiful things about Turkey, having been there and in Istanbul. I think that's relevant to what's going on here and what Nihat is doing. One is that Turkey, if you are standing in Istanbul, you can stand on a place that connects the East and the West. So this country is a bridge for us between the East and the West that I think is extremely important. We recently did an event about World Interfaith Harmony Week, and Turkey also is a country, along with other countries like Georgia. On one street in Istanbul, there is a mosque, a church, and a synagogue, which is a very powerful experience that really also shows the unity that Turkey brings together. So I think that we're all united about Turkey is very important. And I'd like to actually make a commitment in action as our ambassador, Sadiq Wai, your relative and our buddy for whom Gordon and I serve as advisors to his being the ambassador of Sierra Leone to the United States. Action matters. And so Russell did not know this, but I'm going to volunteer us to provide, either through technology or in person, some psychosocial support, as we did in the song that you heard, to Turkey. And if you just all maybe turn to the other person next to you and say, if you had all the money in the world, all the time in the world, and all the opportunity, what might you do for Turkey? Just for 15 seconds, turn to the person next to you and share that. Just share with me. All the money in the world, all the power, all the time. Okay. Thank you. Action matters. So that's my first point about the country. The second theme I'd like to point out has to do with technology. Oh, it's wonderful that you want to continue to talk about this. I totally love it. Everybody's got energy about it. So like Hawa said about the title, the second point I want to point out is about technology. Since we all went through the importance of technology because of COVID. So technology certainly, as we've heard about the metaverse, we heard about internal technology, we heard about NFTs, which is very important, especially for women now. I'd like to make a point as a psychologist, and that is that these machines are not enough for our future. For the future, it says here, the women of the future of not only Turkey, but all the world. And that is people to people really matters. All research shows. Kids, yes, thank you. We cannot rely on this. This is destroying our children in lots of ways. They do not know how to talk. They do not know how to say, I love you. They do not know how to express themselves because of this. They need to talk to people and express themselves and relearn reading and language and arithmetic and science and technology, STEM, which now is STEAM with art. So that's my point about this. Research has shown that kids have to do social emotional learning, which means that they have to relate to others and to their own feelings, which I know that the panelists before would relate to, in order to develop their cognitive skills. You agree?
Yeah,
Yay, you agree. That is all about your point.
Thank you.
Thank you for that power. Woo! Okay, my third point and summary I want to make is about lived experience. So you, Kaya, right?
Yes, love.
What a powerful, I mean, I'm blown away by your experience, really. By your sharing about your being abused by three generational, oh my, how ugly, okay? We could go on and on about abuse, which is very related to girls' empowerment, getting over that, saying no, and women. So the fact that you rose up above this, you are about to hear some of my beautiful, beautiful students here also share their lived experience, as Zayna did, about what has happened to them. So this issue of lived experience, not being the three S's I call them, stigma, shame, and silence. Let's get over those and really feel empowered. Okay, now my third point has to do with the importance of what empowerment means. That empowerment also relates to entrepreneurship that we heard, and it relates to education. So thank you to Nia for everything that you are doing for educating young girls. I have my Nia notebook here that I got last year, and that has all my notes in it. It is close to my heart, and now close to all of our hearts. You truly, all of you, my beautiful students, I love you all of the panelists before, all of the organizers, you really are paying attention and helping the future of women all around the world. Thank you.